On May 20th, 2025, the state of Texas executed Mathew Johnson, a 49-year-old inmate convicted of the 2012 murder of 76-year-old Garland convenience store clerk Nancy Harris. His death by lethal injection marked the culmination of a life marred by addiction, violence, and fleeting moments of redemption. This video traces Johnson's journey from a troubled childhood to his final hours, examining the factors that shaped his actions and the legal battles that sealed his fate. Mathew Johnson was born on September 17, 1975, in Dallas County, Texas, into an environment of instability and neglect. Raised in a household where supervision was minimal, Johnson began using drugs at the age of 7. Started with marijuana and escalating to crack cocaine by middle school. His older brothers and cousins introduced him to substances like PCP, which exacerbated his erratic behavior. Johnson's childhood was further scarred by sexual abuse, though details remain sparse in court records. By 15, he had his first arrest for car theft, signaling the start of a criminal trajectory. Over the next 2 decades, his record expanded to include robbery, evading arrest, and violent altercations with law enforcement, including biting officers during a 1994 arrest. Despite brief periods of stability, such as his marriage and fatherhood to 3 daughters, his addiction to crack cocaine overshadowed any progress. On May 20th, 2012, Johnson, under the influence of $100 worth of crack cocaine and alcohol, entered a Fina Whipping convenience store in Garland, Texas, armed with a bottle of lighter fluid and a cigarette lighter. He doused clerk Nancy Harris and demanded cash. Surveillance footage captured the horror. Johnson stealing cigarettes, lighters, and Harris's ring before igniting the fluid. Harris, engulfed in flames, fled to a sink in a futile attempt to extinguish herself. She died 5 days later from severe burns and infection, surrounded by her family. Harris, a grandmother of 12, was remembered for her Nini Days tradition with her granddaughters. Her death galvanized public outrage, particularly after Johnson's arrest an hour later with stolen goods in his possession. At his 2013 trial, Johnson admitted guilt, but claimed he never intended to kill Harris. His defense emphasized his drug addiction and traumatic upbringing, calling witnesses to describe his nonviolent nature when sober. Prosecutors, however, highlighted his criminal history and the brutality of the crime, presenting surveillance footage that left jurors visibly shaken. The jury unanimously sentenced him to death, citing Texas' future dangerousness requirement, a prediction Johnson's attorneys later contested as flawed. Over 12 years on death row, Johnson filed multiple appeals, arguing that his prison record, free of violence, disprove the jury's assessment. Courts, including the U.S. Supreme Court, rejected these claims, upholding the constitutionality of Texas sentencing criteria. A final clemency plea to the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles in May 2025 was denied, sealing his fate. During incarceration, Johnson participated in Texas faith-based rehabilitation program, writing letters expressing remorse. In a message to the Texas Observer days before his execution, he stated, "This is the end, but for me it's the beginning of life. I truly love you, Mrs. Harris, and I'm sorry. I pray we meet in eternity and dwell together forever." His attorneys noted his close relationships with his wife and daughters, portraying him as a man reformed by faith and sobriety. Texas abolished special last meals in 2011 after a controversial request by another inmate. Johnson likely received a standard prison meal, a cheeseburger, potato salad, and beans. His final words, delivered from the execution gurney, echoed his written apology. "I hurt an innocent woman. I took a human being's life. I was the cause of that. It was not my intention to kill her, but I did. I pray for forgiveness and peace for her family." This is Inmate Execution Records. Subscribe now to be updated daily.